Good evening. Welcome back to Coping with Corona. I'm your host, Markham Luttrell, and don't know if you can hear the sizzling in the background. My wife's currently frying up some beef for dinner. Anyhow, just a couple of comments for starters here. But I want to start off today's episode with just kind of talking about how we should be looking at things right now. I know a lot of people are kind of down in the dumps because of the way the whole virus is going on, and I understand that. But at the same time, we should be looking at this as an opportunity, because we're entering the start of an era that mankind in general has not gone into before. We haven't had in the modern era a virus that can basically best all our efforts to stop it. And even now they're saying it's so complex and keeps mutating that they're not entirely sure how well a vaccine could work. And I think it might. There's no way to know until they try, though. But we're at a crossroads where we can either stagnate and try and force things to keep going the way they used to, return to the norm. Or we can grow, we can learn, we can change the way we do things. We can change the way work is done. We can change the way social interactions are done. Stuff that makes the world a cleaner, healthier, safer place. And I think a lot of us, we kind of get into the rut of, okay, well, this is the way I've always done things, and I don't want that to change. I want to go back to that. And again, I understand that. I've been there myself many times. But one thing I'm learning is specifically America is meant to be for future generations. In the Constitution, it even says, in the preamble, it says, for ourselves and for our posterity, which it's not prosperity, it's posterity, which means generations who come after. The entire purpose of the United States was to create a stable living environment for future generations. And I think we've kind of lost sight of doing things that will affect future generations. We just keep thinking of the here and the now. And it's not just America. They're doing that all over. I don't know if you can hear, but the meat's really sizzling now. So I want to start with Andrew's comment. He said he's been outside doing a lot of stuff with family outside, just to kind of get out of the house, and that's a really good thing to do. Yard work. This is a good opportunity to get that yard absolutely perfect. No longer will the houses that only use yard crews get the signs that say best yard of the block, because now everyone has time to go out and make their yard look as pretty as they want it to. Andrew had a very deep question, spiritual question, where he was asking why God would allow a virus to sweep through the world of this magnitude. And, some people might jump on the bandwagon of, oh, well, it's God punishing everyone. I don't think that's it at all. Does God disagree with a lot of things in this world? Oh, definitely. But the time of global judgment is either still far in the future or in the distant past right now. What we should be looking at is not pointing fingers, not saying, well, it's because of what these people are doing, it's because of what you're doing, this is your fault. God's trying to punish us all because of what you're doing. What we should be looking at is that this is an opportunity that we've been given to change the way we live, to improve society for future generations. As I was just saying, this is a crossroads for humanity. If we keep going the way we've been going, it's going to end in absolute disaster. Sooner rather than later, it's gonna create an absolutely messy world for future generations, and it's not gonna be nice. It's not gonna be pretty, and it's gonna be terrible. And I don't think any parent wants to give their children a horrible world to live in, but that's what we keep setting up. Each generation just piles more mistakes, trying to force things to stay the way they like it, the way they're comfortable with, the way they grew up, instead of changing with the times and trying to learn and to grow and improve on society. Well, like the internet. When that came, a lot of people were fighting against it, saying, well, that's different. We don't want anything to do with that. And because of that, hackers and cyber bullies and just other dark-minded people were able to get a grip on the internet before anyone who had anything good to give were able to start contributing, because they were all too busy fighting against the change. So what we need to do is we need to look at this as the chance to learn methods of staying cleaner, wash our hands more. That's a pet peeve of mine. Everyone needs to wash their hands. It doesn't matter how clean you think your hands are. Just because I think I have $1 million in my pocket doesn't mean I do. If it did, then I need to start thinking that right away. But what we need to do is we need to start changing, living cleaner, healthier lifestyles. Honestly, the way waters are clearing up in Venice and smog's clearing up in China and stuff like that, I think this is a sign that humanity is just kind of running our resources into the ground. We're not being good stewards. We're being, I'm not entirely sure what a good analogy is for that. We're being a herd of buffalo stampeding. That's more of what we're doing. Just kind of leaving whatever's in our wake while we rush to get from point A to point B. But if we continue down this path, generations that come behind us aren't going to find any, sticking with the buffalo analogy, aren't going to find any fresh grass to feed on. They're just going to find trodden down shrubs and dead plants. So this is our chance to change things for the better. The other comment was by Brian. I want to address that. He's also been doing stuff outside. Hiking is a great opportunity. If you guys have woods or any type of trails like that where you can be a good distance away from other people and still get out, explore nature, explore creation, and breathe in the fresh air, then definitely do that. This is a great opportunity to do that. This is a good opportunity for family bonding. And then Brian also said he's been playing a lot of D&D. I feel that. I've been doing that too. It's a very fun game to play, and it's a good game to keep in touch with people, because I guess they have internet chess now too, but board games like D&D, chess, any board game that has an online format, you can play with friends long distance. You can keep in touch with people that way. It doesn't even have to be long distance. It could be friends that are in the neighborhood, but because you're quarantining, you can't really hang out with each other. So definitely do board games. Board games in the house with family members, online with friends. It's a good opportunity to try that. Find the board game that you most want to get good at and start playing it a lot. So just to wrap it up, I know there's been a lot of protests lately talking about how it's unconstitutional what the governments are doing, and how that we should be living in freedom, not fear. I don't think that's what we're doing by shutting down the economy. The economy can recover. The economy always recovers. It goes up and down, like people say, it's like the stock market. The economy will recover. What won't recover are lives lost due to the pandemic. And we need to keep that in mind. Family members that either their immune system is wrecked by trying to survive this thing, or people who have lost family or friends through this virus. You can't bring someone back from the dead. You can bring back a dead economy, but you can't bring someone back from the dead. So what we're doing, it's not fear. This isn't a freedom or fear option here. This is a freedom. This is a patience option. We need to learn patience. And I think as a nation, especially with the new technology, we have forgotten what patience is like. I mean, you take a photo, there's the digital photograph instantly. You don't have to have patience for the film to get developed. And I remember when I was really little, we still had film cameras. My first camera was a film camera. We don't do that anymore. But, you want to find something, you want to look up a word, you just type in it on the internet and it brings up the meaning. You don't have to go pull down the dictionary and then flip through and hope you can remember the spelling. We're used to instant gratification. And because of that, it's the freedom, not fear movement, and we're not thinking that patience is a virtue, especially in this case right here. As for it being unconstitutional, no, definitely not. I quoted kind of paraphrase the preamble of the Constitution earlier. 3 other things that they mentioned in the preamble to the Constitution is that the duty of a government is, I'm going to paraphrase again here, actually maybe not, I just remember the terms, domestic tranquility, common defense, and general welfare. Domestic tranquility is in reference to just peace in the home, and to me, I feel much safer knowing that everyone is distancing each other socially and being careful not to catch the virus. That brings me the domestic tranquility that is mentioned in the Constitution. Common defense, people think of military in that, but that's also in defense to anything that threatens our way of life or the lives of the people in this nation, such as not necessarily an invading army, but an invading pandemic. And then lastly, the general welfare. I mean, that's kind of obvious. It's literally in reference to the health and well-being of the people in America. If we say, well, we should go about it because, if people are going to get it and die, then let them die. That's the wrong mentality. That is so the wrong mentality. Because first of all, you don't know if that person who gets it is you that it could be fatal to. So that's really not being smart. And secondly, that's just cruel to everyone who's lost a loved one. That's cruel to basically tell them that their loved one doesn't matter. This is our opportunity to show that we have a heart for other people, that we care. And honestly, the government is acting in the best interest of the people. They're trying to give us mental peace, domestic tranquility, keep us alive, the common defense, and keep us safe and healthy, just the general welfare. So they are actually following exactly what the Constitution says. Now, I understand there are some politicians out there that they're using it for kind of a political maneuver, trying to get agendas done or, boost their re-election campaign or make a rival look bad or something. I'm not condoning that at all. And for those of you out there among the politicians who are doing that, you know who you are. That's not what America's about. That's not right by any means. And I don't want to get political on this, but this is a moral issue. People's lives are at stake here. Don't gamble for political or financial gain. This is a moral issue, not a political issue. Put the people first. So, that's all I have for today. Go outside. Apparently that's being a pretty common thing for people, is to just go outside and explore woods around their house, trails, whatever. Definitely do that. Take a drive around, enjoy the scenery. Play board games online with friends. I've been doing D&D. I think my wife and I have plans to do Battleship at some point. I know we've done Yahtzee a few times. So definitely do that. And remember that this isn't some kind of problem or punishment. This is an opportunity that we have to take the world that we live in that is kind of falling apart. And when it's falling apart, that means the old is not working. The old saying is, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, things are falling apart, which means they are clearly broken. So this is our opportunity to fix it. So look at this as a positive thing. Definitely, everyone keep those who are ill in your thoughts and prayers. Keep our leaders in your thoughts and prayers as well. We really, really need them to make wise decisions that are not politically or financially motivated, but that are solely motivated for the best interest of us, the people of America. So that's all I have for today. I will be posting again soon. This one was a little bit later than I was planning, but I'm working on getting more material out quicker. It's been a busy week. Temporarily, my job's kind of on hold right now until we're able to safely open up again. So it was just kind of a crazy week. We had a lot of unpacking to do. We're still settling into the house. But anyhow, that's all I have for this week, or today at least. This is Markham Luttrell signing off, and y'all have a great week.